All right, this is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. Good morning. Kind of cool down here today. Not cold, especially like what you experienced up in the Northeast somewhere. Everybody's getting all warmed up anyway. Don't even matter about the temperature because Florida Georgia game was in town. Going to be here on Saturday, but RV City opened up 2 days ago, so they down there partying in full swing, and they're going to be that way until Sunday. And it's a great atmosphere, a great environment. If you never experienced it, come on down to Jacksonville and check out the RV City and Jacksonville getting ready for this Georgia-Florida game. Should be a good one. Looks like the weather supposed to hold out, and that's a good thing because a washout is a bad thing. But enough of that. A lot going on in the sports world. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, Governor Landry of Louisiana, he comes out and he goes off about the LSU coaching search. As soon as Kelly was fired, he started making noise about the situation. And then he comes out with a press conference and he makes it clear about what he sees taking place. And the big thing that I took from all of that was one thing he did say that made a whole lot of sense is that we are rewarding failure. Why is it that it's necessary to reward failure? What do I mean by that? I am referring to these coaching contracts. Well, if it does not work out, then you still have to pay these massive buyouts. So he's saying that it shouldn't be that way. It should be incentive-based. And if you hit certain marks, then yeah, you should be greatly compensated for it. But you should not be given that kind of leeway up front when you haven't proven anything in that particular job. And I agree with a lot of that. It should be incentive-based. But at the same time, that's not the way the market is. And he said that Scott Woodward, which is another subject, before I even get to that, he said that they will find a good coach. And because they'll find a good coach, things are going to get back on track. But he's going to do it in a way that makes sense financially for the state. The taxpayer should not be left with the bill to pay for coaches that are no longer there. Again, I agree with a lot of that. But with the market, you're trying to get one of the top coaches, and these other schools are paying according to what's been going on lately with the incentives and the buyouts and all of that. If you don't have that, and you're talking about incentive lace, you're not going to get one of those top coaches. You're going to end up getting you're going to have to get some coach that's on the rise and will be glad to take a shot at a job like LSU at a lower rate with the possibility of getting incentives. Somebody will take a chance on that, trying to make a name for themselves in the coaching world. Some of these established people, like some of the names that you're talking about, Lane Kiffin, who's used to getting incentives, who's got a big contract at Ole Miss. Why would he leave that situation to go down to to LSU for uncertainty, especially in a pressure cooker when you're expected to do this and do that. And if it doesn't work, then now you wishing you stayed where you were. But it's too late at the start. Cable Slay, I hope I said it right. How you doing? Here's one thing about the incentives that's we've seen recently in the last, 15 years. That guy, Maurice Claret, he got in trouble and he signed with the Broncos after that. And he signed an incentive-based deal. He did that because he wanted to show everybody that he can make the team, and he's pretty much betting on himself that he would be successful. But a lot of people frowned upon his decision because he left a lot of money on the table when he did that. Broncos, of course, they wouldn't have lost anything anyway because he didn't make the team, and he would have lost. He lost on himself because he didn't make the team, so he lost a lot of money. But the Broncos, they would have been okay either way because, like I say, they didn't make the team. But he didn't protect himself by taking what was guaranteed based on where he was selected to go to the Broncos. So people take these guaranteed deals incentives and different things to protect themselves. Claret didn't do that. And I don't see these high profile coaches leaving a situation where they have incentives to go to a new place like LSU, even though it's a high profile school. They're not going to leave all that money on the table to go into that situation. Now, he also mentioned Scott Woodward. Somebody asked, is Scott Woodward going to hire your next coach? He said no. I mentioned this the other day, and a lot of people are mentioning the same thing. Scott Woodward's got a sketchy track record when it comes to hiring coaches. He's bounced around a little bit, and he's wound up in his hometown of Baton Rouge at LSU. I guess that's his dream job. You know, some people will call it that. JC, how you doing, man? He hired. What did he do? He ended up going to Texas A&M. He had another hire. He lured somebody to go. I don't remember right now what the first thing he did, but he left that job. No, he took Chris Peterson from Boise State and got him into Washington. Then he went to Texas A&M. He signed a big contract with Jimbo Fisher. Then he got Brian Kelly to come from Notre Dame to LSU. And when he got Fisher to come, he signed that big contract that made all kind of waves. He was making like $75 million over X amount of time. Then he also signed an extension after that. So his buyout went to like 70 million when they got rid of it. As you know, when you get these buyouts, they have to pay you 50% of that within 30 days. So Texas A&M paid big money to get rid of Jimbo Fisher. Now that's paid off for him because they got a coach that's got things going now, Elko, and he seems to be all the things that Fisher was weak at. And right now they're not even worried about that because they're making all that money back. But Kelly leaving LSU, now they owe him $50 million. So this is what Landry is going off about. This guy failed in his job. He didn't do what we thought he was going to do. He wasn't the hire we thought he was. So he's saying, why should you pay a guy $50 million for failing at his job and then leaving the bill to the taxpayers? And I absolutely agree with that. The only problem with guys like Landry, he's speaking out of both sides of his mouth. Yeah, you're speaking right and it sounds good, but what kind of deal do you have? How much money would you get if you were forced out? Or some of these CEOs, when they fail at their job, how much money do they get? They don't cry about getting that money back. So you have to be careful when you listen to guys like Landry because they got their own little honeypots that they got lined up if they don't be successful in their job. But we're not worried about that as a common fan. And we're not even worried about Brian Kelly and the other coaches that get these buyouts. That's just the way that things are right now. But as a taxpayer and you footing that bill, you're not very happy about it. So in that sense, I agree with Landry on that. But now he says that Woodward, with his sketchy track record, he's not going to hire the next LSU coach. And like I said the other day, when firing Kelly, he's trying to make things right so he doesn't get fired himself. And now that Landry stepped in and kind of puts Woodward in a terrible situation, what's he going to do next? Is he going to resign? He's not going to be able to do one of the big parts of his job, which is go out and hire a football coach. So he's basically rendered him powerless. So he might well step away and go somewhere else. But whoever Landry comes up with on this committee that he says he's going to put together, what do they know about hiring football coaches? Is that really the best move? But the most detrimental part about it is if this special committee is going to put the payment package together for the coach, are you going to have a buyout package in there? Because if you don't have a buyout package, you're not going to get one of these top coaches. So he basically sounded great, and he's going to ride in on his white horse to save LSU football. But at the same time, he set a torch to it. Because Lane Kiffin and any other top coach is not going to leave their honey pot where they got these big buyouts and come to a school. I don't give a damn what their name is. If they're not having the same sort of setup of what they're used to, then you're going to be wasting your time. But somebody's going to take that job. Now, the only other thing that I can relate to that is high school football that I know of in Valdosta, Georgia. They call themselves Wintersville. They got like 30 state championships, and it's supposed to be the winningest high school in America. They won more games than anybody in America. And if you take the job there, it's one of those places where you're expected to win. And I'm not talking about 8-2, 7-3. We're talking about going and winning state championships. There have been coaches fired at Valdosta who took their team to a state championship game, only lost 1 or 2 games, and still got fired. The last coach that I heard of, I think he lost 1 game and didn't win state, and they were considered firing him, but I think they brought him back and eventually fired him anyway. I think Rodemaker was the last guy to win a state championship there and end up getting rid of him. So you go to Valdosta, you ain't going to be there very long. And if you don't win a state championship, when you lose 2 games, you might be out the door. You lose a Lions High across the street and win a state championship, you still might be out the door. It's an unrealistic environment for a coach to survive in. Now, they have tremendous athletes that have come through Valdosta, and with this climate of recruiting and players mysteriously showing up and going to places like that, that makes it easier for them to win. But there's also traditions there in place that they've been doing for years and somehow been getting away with that allows them to get a leg up on the competition. I found out recently that it was discovered that, hell, they pretty much practice year-round in football at Valdosta. How the hell you get away with that? Well, if you practice year-round, then you have the opportunity to put together teams that can go deep into the playoffs because you're practicing on it and other teams aren't. And you already know you're going to be hitting on all cylinders by the time the season starts, and you're going to be hard to beat. And, in high school football, any other sport, once you get momentum going, it's going to be hard to knock you off that. So this is the accusation that they put on Valdosta. You're practicing year-round. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. But they get away with it. These state institutions or these athletic associations, they turn blind eyes to certain things. But if you're not one of the favorite institutions and you file a piece of paperwork wrong, you got a problem. Take Gaston County High School over here on the other side of Tallahassee. They pretty much ran the coach off. They want to fine the man, what was it, $5,000? And he also had to sit out a year, and the school had to pay a fine. Well, the school got rid of the fine, but of course, he's not going to sit around a whole year, and especially when his coaching supplement probably went but a couple thousand anyway. So that supplement is not as high as the fine. They're basically telling him you got to go. So what did he do? He took a college job, and that was by design to get him out of there. Then they said the players that were so-called ineligible, well, we're going to allow you to play, but you can't go play for this high school. I mean, they do some of the dumbest things. If the rules are so egregious that you violate it, why are you allowed to play anywhere? It don't make sense. And why only suspend the coach for 1 year? Why not ban him if the rules are violated so much? These associations turn a blind eye to a lot of stuff. But I say all that to say that when you are a coach, you got to know the situation you're going in. And ain't nowhere the hell I would take a job in a place like Valdosta and I can go 14-1, lose a state championship game, and still lose my job. I mean, that's not even close to being worth it. And I think the biggest thing out of all of this that everybody seems to miss and nobody talks about, all of these places, high schools, colleges, are supposed to be academic institutions. Does anybody ever say anything about the word academics? I don't hear very much academic talk. They don't give a damn about how well the students are doing. All they care if somebody scores a touchdown and win the big game. That's great for the athlete. It's great if it propels you to the next level and you're able to make it. But as you know, most people don't make it. So I think academic part still plays a very, very huge part in the roles of youngsters because these games aren't guaranteed. You can get fired or cut or hurt at any time. So, but I think that Landry had made some great points. But do I think government should get involved in these decisions, even though it's the state institutions? I say no, because what you're doing is opening up a slippery slope. Okay, if he's going to hire the football coach, who's next? You're going to hire the chemistry teacher too? Now, I understand you hiring a school president or having, well, I won't even get into that, but I got a problem with that too. Um, Having some say about the school presidents, I understand that, but I think hiring a football coach, this is the reason why you have athletic directors and other administrators at universities to make these decisions. And for him to come all the way out when you got so much other problems taking place in that state, you worry about what the damn football team doing. It's got nothing to do with you. And it's not like LSU is 0-8. I do believe they're still 5-3 and highly competitive. But like I told you guys before, the big problem with Brian Kelly, he's not from the South. He's got double scrutiny. No matter what a coach came from, he's going to get scrutiny if he's not meeting the expectation that people think you should have. But when you add the double whammy of him being from up north, down in the deep South, if he breathes wrong or step on a crack or something, that's his fault. He's going to get blamed for it. And it's just the way it is. Time, how you doing, man? Coaching God's good people. Top of the morning, have a blessed and productive Thursday. Stay consistent and healthy. I'm trying to do that. Appreciate it. Right, Coach. Governor shouldn't have a say in college coaching. Down here in Florida, I think the governor here would love to get involved in such things. But that's one thing he hasn't come out and said anything about what's taking place with the athletics. So I think he's right by staying out of that. But in a monkey see, monkey do world, if Landry comes out and they come up with this board and they make good decisions, they end up with the right coach, don't you think the other states are going to follow suit? And I just don't think that's the way it should be. Athletic directors hired to do a certain job. And now that Scott Woodward has been publicly called out by the governor, what is he going to turn to next? I mean, every move he makes is going to be met with scrutiny. So he might as well just go on and resign and go somewhere else because his credibility has been shot all to hell at LSU. And I don't think that's a good thing for LSU or any other institution. Selmo, what's going on, man? We're going to get to watch those jackleg Ravens tonight. We're supposed to get Lamar Jackson back. And they swear up and down they got that defense fixed. But I don't think so, man. They got Band-Aid and spackling grease on it, or spackling, what do you call it? Spackling paste. Ravens got a problem, man. And I think that the Dolphins, we want to see tonight if the Dolphins going to play like they did against the Falcons. Now, you can't take that too serious because the Falcons are like a scale kind of team. You put some weight over here and the scale shifts. Put it on the other side, it shifts back. They're not evenly balanced at all. And they want to blame that on Kirk Cousins. Yeah, he didn't play very well. He wasn't on the same page with his receivers. But then at the same time, Michael Penix, he's only great when nobody's around him. But you start getting close to him and he can hear your breath. Then he started making some puzzling throws. And it bothers me because I saw the same thing in that championship game against Michigan. It was fine until they started getting to him. And as they started getting to him, his throws became less accurate. And then they got really puzzling. Like, what the hell was that, Penix? The last two games he played, I've seen him skip passes down the field. When do you ever see a pro quarterback skip passes? That only comes when you got the heat on you and you say, hurry up and get rid of the ball. I don't want it. You take it. I don't want it. And that's the way it looks like to me that he's doing. So he's going to come back. He's going to come save the Falcons. And they got New England this week, and they playing damn good ball. I thought Vrabel would turn the team around, but not this quick. And the way Drake May is playing, they're going to be a problem. And they got to go up there. That's outdoors. And I'm not sure if the Falcons are going to be able to stand up to that. But we'll see. It's pro football. But the Ravens get their chance to redeem themselves tonight. And I'm a little worried somewhat because of the way things tend to work in professional sports. You get a team that starts real slow or terribly slow due to injuries and other things, and they get far behind in the race. And all of a sudden, the team that's ahead of the race, they start to stumble, i.e., Pittsburgh. They had a chance to really put a hammer on the division. All they had to do was beat Cincinnati. They blew that. So you think Cincinnati's turned the corner with Flacco, and they turn around and lose to the winless Jets. So you can't put a finger on it no kind of way. But Pittsburgh had a chance to really lock up this division. Now they've lost 2 in a row. They got 3 losses, and I think the Ravens got 5 losses. They're still in the race. So Pittsburgh, they didn't do what they were supposed to do, man. And if Baltimore gets hot, which they're capable of doing, because they are the regular season Ravens, ain't gonna do shit in the playoffs, but regular season, they're dangerous. If they come back and they do something with the Dolphins and they get another week and a half off, man, the Ravens, they could make some noise. I'm not counting them out, but they're in a good position to cause problems. All right. Carol Davis, I know she's not happy with the latest team was being orchestrated. I'm disappointed in Tom Brady not getting Deion Sanders' son to the Raiders. Chip Kelly has to go. I think Chip Kelly, once he gets his mind made up on something, that's what he's going to go with. And he can't get his mind off that. That was his problem in the first 2 jobs. And I think he was at Philadelphia and San Francisco. He wanted to do it how he wanted to do it, and the other guys didn't want to adapt. And that led to his ouster there. And I think what he should have done was stayed at Ohio State. And they had it going there, and what he wants to do is fine. But like it was pointed out earlier, some of the concepts he's running works great in college, but not so much in the pros. And I think that is killing him right now. So he's going to go at some point, maybe not now, but at the end of the year, unless there's a turnaround, he's gone. You got to get your new quarterback too, Raiders. I hope Baltimore isn't rushing Lamar back too soon. He's supposed to play the next game. Yeah, they thought he was going to play Sunday, but they gave him a couple extra days to get ready. Now, he's supposed to have a hamstring problem. Normally, if you pull a hamstring all the way off, then you're going to be out for a very long time. So that lets me know he had a strain. I've had several hamstring strings, and hamstring tears or pulls or whatever you want to call it. And usually take me 2 or 3 days. And if you put a sleeve on, you can play with that. So he should be fully recovered because it didn't completely rip off the bone. So Jackson should be all right. I don't expect to see him run a whole lot tonight. But if he takes off and the Ravens fans be holding their breath, but I think he's okay. They just wanted to send him out an extra game because they felt like they can beat Chicago. And that worked out for him. But I think he's fine. He can put a sleeve on. He'll be good. But rushing him back, I don't think they're rushing him back. Baltimore won't make the playoffs. I don't think they will either, but they're going to make it interesting. So that extra game, that 17th game, really helps teams when they start out slow like that. I think they're 2-5, and if they get by Miami tonight, that's a conference game. They're still in the thick of things. They got Pittsburgh twice. They can make some noise. Pittsburgh need to tighten up, but it'd be interesting to see how they look tonight. I'm looking forward to it. I don't believe in Mike Tomlin. He chose to take Aaron Choke Rodgers over a really good Sanders quarterback for the future. Pittsburgh can't stop the run, and Aaron Choke Rodgers is not that bad, man. Well, I would not have put a rookie into a situation like this. Nobody said it, but I think Tomlin's future there is on the line because he's been there a long time, and your message starts to get a little watered down after a while. And he wouldn't trust that last year with a rookie. Now, everybody's got Shador like he's just automatically going to be the savior. He'll be all right, but we hadn't seen him in a live football game. Now, at some point, the Browns are going to put him out there just to see what he can do because they want to make a decision about the future. So Gabriel is not playing that well, and I think his height's got a lot to do with that. Shador is about the same height as he is. So he's going to struggle, but it'd be nice to see what it looks like. But I think Pittsburgh went with the right decision with Rodgers because he's got the arm strength, he's got the knowledge, he's got everything they need. All they need to do is play a little bit better on the defense. They went and traded for that safety from New England. and they got to shore that defense up, and they need to get a receiver is what they need to do. That guy Calvin Austin, I don't have any confidence in him in being able to alleviate the pressure from Metcalf on the other side. They're depending on a series of tight ends, and that's not necessarily a good thing, especially when you don't throw Metcalf the ball that much. I think that's what Pittsburgh's real problem is, not the quarterback. I think he's going to be fine. He does look mighty ancient out there. With these new cameras now, you can see that the wrinkles on the paper, on people's faces. Rodgers looks like he's about 50 years old, man. But the man can still throw the football, and I think he's going to be all right. Coach, trust and believe me as a person that been listening to all these fake quote commentators. We need more honest people like you, Coach, wisdom and knowledge. I appreciate the compliment their time. Like and subscribe, man. You can catch me on early in the morning. Today I'm rambling on about this LSU thing. I think Landry made good points about having to pay all these coaches the big money with these buyouts, but he think he's going to get a good coach with a new pay structure. If these guys used to getting all this big money on buyouts, who's he think he's going to come there and not get that based on incentives? Now, you as a competitor, you think you can win. Yeah, I think I can win, but I want to get paid too. Maurice Clarett, again, is an excellent example. He thought he was going to make the team, and I make my money through incentives like this. Don't worry about paying me up front. Then he didn't make the team, so the money he could have made, he didn't even get that. And the coaches feel like, yeah, I want to win, but what if I don't win? I got to get paid, man. And that's the problem LSU is going to have now by him publicly going out front like that and throwing the AD under the bus. He basically cut his, he basically rendered him powerless when he said that he's not going to be the hire, and that's the basis of his whole job. And every decision he makes, all the people are going to look at him like he got three heads. So Woodward's in a bad situation right now. He might well just go ahead and resign now. And but we'll see what this committee comes up with in LSU. But I really don't think governor should get involved with this. He's overstepping his bounds, especially when all these states got major problems right now. He worried about a damn football team. Football team's going to be all right either way. Look at Kelly. Yeah, everybody's laughing at, hey, you got fired. But why are you laughing at a man who's got a $50 million buyout? Within 30 days, they got to pay him off. Half of it anyway. So $25 million. The Kelly household is going to have a very great Christmas for the next couple of years. So, like I tell you before, if I was in that situation, fire me. I would give a damn. You fired Billy Napier at Florida. He's got a $21 million buyout. You think he's worried about it when that $10 million check come in? Hell no. Fire me. That's the way I feel about it. But anyway, I got to get up out of here, man. The bell rings. The kids be running in a minute. I asked the question, should governors get involved in college hires? Not a few of you say that they should, but most of you said that no. And I agree with all you guys. Landry need to worry about what's going on downtown in Baton Rouge, just not on the river where the university is. So I think they'll be all right. All right, let me look at this one more. It says, look at the New York Giants quarterback situation. If you give these young men an opportunity to stop relying on experience, you never know what happened. Well, that's true. I'll give you that, but most of the time it's not true. It's the problem that you have there is a learning curve. Do you have enough time to learn without losing the whole season? These guys put a lot of work in, and to come right out and lose 4 or 5 games in a row, that's demoralizing. And I think Sanders, he's going to get his opportunity, and I sure hope he plays well because a lot of people swear me now that they're ruining their franchises by not putting this guy on the field. One thing's for sure, whatever he does, he ain't going to be Deion. And he's just not going to be Deion. And I think a lot of people think, well, he's automatically going to be great because the dad was great. That ain't the case. And when those live fires come at him, if he don't get into the right checks, they're going to put some hats on him too. And then, like I told you guys before, what's going to happen in Cleveland, they're going to activate Deshaun Watson. He's going to come in and start a couple of games, and you're going to see why they signed this guy. And next year he's going to be your starting quarterback. They already got rid of Flacco. Kenny Pickett's gone. If he works out, then hell, they didn't have to draft another quarterback. They're straight. You have 2 young guns behind him with some experience, and then he'll come back with all the experience he has. And then Cleveland's going to be all right at the quarterback position. That's my take on that. But anyway, you guys have a great day, man. And looking forward to some football tonight. I think Jackson, he's getting better, but he's going to have to tighten up if you want to get anywhere close to the playoffs. And when you get to the playoffs, you got to tighten up even more because I have yet to see, well, I take it back. That last drive against Buffalo last year, he did take him down to get in position to win that game. But that's the only time I ever seen him do that when it counted the most. Get him back and run around and make plays when you're playing against teams that don't have you circled on their calendar. But when it's time to play and they got a bead on you, you got to come through. And at this point, he hadn't come through yet. So that's why I call them the regular season Ravens. And you get a chance to see the newest version of the regular season Ravens tonight when they take on the Dolphins. And I have my take on it in the morning. So you guys have a great day, man. Appreciate you 2 times, man. And first I say Deshaun Watson. I've been saying Deshaun Watson for weeks now that he's going to play. He's got too big of a contract. They got to put him out there. So I'll leave you with that. But the Steelers are going to win.